Welcome back to RP Gamepire, and we are starting a new tale, a new adventure. And this rant will be short and sweet, but it's more to put forward my review and opinion on this amazing Legend of the Ancient Forge. Alright, we are going to go there and seek out and see what is transpiring there. And we're going to follow this adventure and tale as far as it takes us. More importantly, I want you to see the layout, and what is presented here is pretty much what you're going to see a lot throughout the game. More importantly is I want to point out some of the criticism this game has and why it does not have merit at RP Gamepire. My opinion and rant. Alright? And more importantly is this. This is a dungeon crawling adventure. There is going to be grind. Alright? And a lot of the criticisms it has, it's like, oh, see, look at the layout and look at the map, and oh, look, all those spaces, all those, because each one is an encounter, right? So each one has to be done, to pretty much move forward down to the dungeon. And there's I think about 30 of those quests. So 30 quests, and each one carries about 5, 6 different 10 encounters. You can pretty much do the math of how, vast and long this could take. But it's important to understand this dungeon crawling adventuring, and that's what makes it an amazing tale. Because if it was so fast and to the point, then it would lose merit of the whole purpose of gaining new treasure for your equipment, and more importantly gaining new skills. Because sooner or later it just you get overpowering too quick, and overpowering in a way that had no merit to it other than, okay, I moved here to here to here, etc. If you understand what I'm trying to get at. The other non-merit is the complaint is the weapons, because look at it, it's kind of plain, there's nothing to it. So why even put it beside my adventurer or hero? And they're adventurers, they're going to become heroes. But the thing is, because when you find treasures, you can pretty much attach it to it, and it will enable it to have certain benefit, bonus. So in this case, this is a weapon, so you're going to add something that pretty much merits a weapon. Alright? And in this case, this one is an armor, so you're going to attach to it something that will merit armor. Alright? So this is something very, very important to note. The vast variety, which I love in RP Gamepire, it's pretty much, and the things I like to present is stories and great adventures. And if you look at this, the variety that you get and the options you get is just so vast. And I'm kind of giving away the characters that we're pretty much going to play with in this adventure. Alright? So each character has their own stats and starting abilities, starting skills, etc. And also method of gaining fate tokens. Alright? And those fate tokens are pretty much a way of for you to, because the fate tokens is what you use for doing the special type of skill abilities. And in that case you need fate tokens, and this is the method of how you replenish that fate token. Okay, more importantly, this is your starting stats, and I'll show you later what can pretty much help and gain those stats in some form or shape. So this is your movement, it's kind of obvious. This is your armor, 3. Now it's very important, this reference of armor of 3, when you do a defense against a foe's attack, you always roll in this game a 20-sided die. Alright, and if you get this beautiful B, it's a 20 critical. Alright, and by rolling off, by the way, a 20 critical or a 1, you automatically replenish a fate token. Alright, that's one way of also replenishing it, but also you get an automatic critical, which then you don't even have to roll for the damage roll. This is the damage roll that each character would have. Each one has different damage rolls, and if depending on the foe stat, you can, as you adventure with them, you will find out that you could hit a regular hit, which will do regular damage, or you could pretty much do a critical. This is the pretty much vitality that this hero has. And again, as you roll the defense for the 20-sided die, you add the 3, and pretty much you will increase your defense by 3, whatever you roll. Now, here it always lays out what your starting skills are, or abilities. this is your character's special character bonus. So you could see charisma is +2, and this one, constitution, is +1. All right. So, and right here, it tells you your starting equipment. You can't go wrong. So if you had to set up this character per se, I will show you exactly how you would have him set up. So let's bring him the board right here. All right. So the first thing is you're going to bring the board here, and you're going to try to open this up. Now that's work on itself. All right. All right. All right. All right. And no, you can't put that, so you're going to have to put that away. All right, so you put that, and then you take the character, and you're going to say, okay, so we know you're starting with a Crusader Strike. And I have it kind of set up here, obviously, kind of cheating a bit. So you're going to say the Crusading Strike. That's one of the skills. The other one is, it says Mechanica Strike, as it says out here. So you're going to come, you're going to set up that. And the last one is the Amazing Bastion, all right, ability. Now, then it's going to tell you the characteristic reference, and we're going to go over that. But before we go that, let's check on the gear of his weapon and shield. And he has this weapon and shield. You got to make sure that it's in the level 1 side, and it's a level 1 anyways. Okay, equipment. And as you could see, as I predefined it, this is the weapon, attack, and this is the armor. So if any bonuses, treasure that you find that are for weapons, you will obviously attach it to this. And anything for armor, you will attach it to this. I like his shield, by the way. And I like the name Repulsor Shield. Okay, so that pretty much sets up that. So the way it works is you're going to kind of put it down. And we're going to put this down, like ignore the fact that all these cards right here. Let's not confuse that. And the next thing that you have to do is, don't forget, you have to also set up the character's characteristics, right? And we're going to go into that right now. Because look at all of this tokens we have in this game. All right? And by the way, amazingly in the core box, you get these boxes so you can easily put them in and sort them out. So at this point, this character is pretty much set up. As you see, the character's statistics is based on the bonus that he also gets for character. So his charisma and constitution will charisma will get +2, constitution will get +1. So in this reference, as you can see, his constitution has +1 and his charisma has +2, and pretty much you have already set up your amazing and valiant hero as shown. Now, I just don't know why this card will not go in, because it has, well, I put the plastic protection, well, whatever. So at this point, this is done. This is the character setup. You did it. It's done. And you can go on to setting up the next character. The other, well, there's other, pros and cons in this game. And the cons, some of them that was brought up quickly, was the fact, the tiles. Now, let me put this away quickly. And I'm going to pretty much bring into discussion what was the issue that was brought up. If you look at the tiles, okay, if you look at the tiles, pretty much are, by zones. Let me remove this. They're referenced by zones. So there's a zone, there's a zone, there's a zone. There's not the traditional dungeon crawling, squares, etc. It's based on zones, and each zone pretty much has different possible layouts that things occur. Like this is the exit, this is the exit, and this is a secret passage, and this is a spawn point. And you're gonna say, how do I know that? Because a lot of people complain that the tiles are not that obvious. I just don't know where's the exit. I just don't know this. Well, look. When you open the box, the first thing they offer and they show you is this, which avoids the whole argument that a lot of people criticized in this game. Okay, so this is pretty much, this is pretty much the reference sheet. It kind of lays it out. It kind of makes it obvious. So every time, every second, that pretty much what is what. You can pretty much say this tile has 2 zones, and this has 4 exit points, and more importantly, the spawn points right here. You know that this also has 4 zones, but the spawn points here, and there's only 2 exits and 1 passage, etc. So that argument has no merit. The only argument that I ever found, the only issue that I have, is I have to bother to have a magnifying glass so I can enjoy the game and pretty much, try to read what it says in these cards, because some of them is just so small, ridiculously small. I don't know. Listen. All right, I don't know why they did that. In a sense, it kind of became a little bit annoying, but overall, that is the only query I would have about this game. All right. Aside from that, it's a dungeon crawling, and it has its foes. Let me illustrate you the foes and explain you the foes. So quickly, this is the initiative number that you have to beat. So when you roll your 20-sided die, which you use for anything, for attack, defense, or maybe sometimes for certain skill tests, you will use that. If you roll 9 or greater, you're pretty much beat him in any circumstance, be it attack or defense. This is the movement of this foe. This is pretty much, if you see this 4, when you roll, for example, like I said, he rolls a six-sided die. If he rolls 4, 5, or 6, he did a critical. If he rolls a 1, 2, 3, pretty much, well, he didn't do a critical. All right, and in this case, this is the damage to kill him. 2 damage to kill him. If you do 1 damage, you didn't kill him. All right, and this is how much his value is worth: 1 gold. Now it's very important. You can have 6 brigands, and if you kill all 6 brigands, you just get 1 gold. All right. Once you eliminate this from the marching order, and the marching order is pretty much, you'll see while we do take the adventure, that is what happens. Now, some foes have 2 sides. All right, and during the adventures, we will meet them and vanquish them, hopefully. In the bottom here, it says pretty much how this and what way the enemy damages you. So it has a range of 0, and if it hits you, it only does 1 damage. This right here, this symbol, on some foes there's more than 1. This is a special method of how the behavior of this foe is. So it is a ferocious foe, and we know that because basically if you look at this symbol and this symbol is kind of uniquely the same. And you follow this stage behavior as we're going to adventure together, and it pretty much tells you how this foe will behave. And this, in reference, is from what race, goblin race, that this foe is from. All right, so that is that. Now, when you take damage, and later on during the adventures, there's going to be different kind of damage. So when you take a damage, you just put this beside your hero, and you know he took 1 damage. But there's sometimes damage that maybe randomly as you take damage, and some foes do severe damage to you, severe. And if they do severe, you take this kind, it's random, sometimes it's very different, and you take this kind of damage, which says this one is frightened, and the hero can't make explore actions. And in order to remove this frightened damage or severe wound, by the way, only your wisdom can give you a bonus to it, and you have to roll 12 or greater in initiative. So let's try another one. So this one, okay, is your constitution that can help you on this. And more importantly, this card counts as 2, you see, I can't read the card, 2 wounds cards. All right, it looks like 2 wound cards. You roll 10 or greater in initiative roll, and you always roll, by the way, your 20-sided die. All right, if you ever roll a 20, okay, like mentioned, you ever roll a 20 or a 1, you replenish your fate, 1 fate, and more importantly, a 1 is obviously a critical miss, and a 20 is a critical hit. You don't even have to roll for damage against your foe. You automatically did critical damage against your foe. That's something very, very important to note. Aside from that, we looked at the equipment, we looked at the different characters, and this is the cards that are pretty much displayed for your marching order. Marching order, what it means is you shuffle this, and you'll see that as we adventure forward, that pretty much you're going to shuffle these cards with all the other cards within the foes also, and pretty much then you're going to lay it out, and as you lay it out, you're pretty much going to know the starting order of who goes first. So maybe this one's going to be here, another character is going to be here, another character here, a foe, and you're pretty much going to know who goes when, and pretty much what the punishment is going to come with that. And that is pretty much it. I think I love it. Is it worth the cost? It comes to question of how much of an adventurer are you? You know, if your gaming group likes the grind and the adventure and understand that dungeon crawling is, going from one dungeon to another dungeon to another dungeon to another dungeon, you're gaining experience, you're gaining gold, you're gaining loot, and you're getting XP, and you're getting new skills, etc., and seeing new tiles, new enemies, new bosses, new creatures, new sorts of stories, and unraveling, etc., then easy peasy lemon squeezy, it's obviously worth the cost. But if you're looking for a quick adventure, you open the box, you play, you know, one little tile, a quick, battle, and that's pretty much case closed. It also can happen here over segmented time and periods. But if you don't like those and you don't like that and you're looking for a quick thrill, this is a real D&D kind of sense of adventure and depth. All right, and if you played anything similar to the light version, which is the the Dungeon and Dragon adventure system, like Castle Ravenloft, Wrath of Ashardalon, Legend of Drizzt, Temple of Elemental Evil, Mad Mage, etc. Or there's other ones. Those systems pretty much follow the same sequence as this one, but this one, I think, pretty much got the idea from there. Is pretty much you go, you explore, you unlock, enemies appear, you go in, you battle them, you gain maybe loot or XP or gold, and then you venture further, you explore, etc., and you unlock the story, and certain events happen, etc. And by the way, there's plenty of possible events that can occur in this game. All right, as we adventure, you will see there's this type of cards that you're going to see often. So there's a corridor or a room. This is the drawing for a room tile, and this is for a corridor. And as we are going to adventure forward, you're going to see more of this, of what it is. And also, there is, once you adventure into a tile or a corridor, there's possibility you're going to pretty much find a battle aspect card or a challenge aspect card, and there's hundreds of them. So pretty much you're going to get a lot of variety, a lot of options. So you're not going to see the same thing constantly. At a certain point, you will see some things that are going to be kind of obvious. But when you're dealing with over 100, kind of aspect challenges, you're going to have the fun of where I'm not going to see it all. So I gotta say, I love it, and those are the reasons why I love it. RP Gamepower, it's all about the story, all about the adventure, all about the tales, all about the laughter, and all about the gruesome death that may happen. And hopefully the adventurers bring it to the enemies. And let's not forget, they're not heroes yet, but they're soon going to be legendary, and the bards will sing of them. I hope you like this quick review, short rant of review. And if there's any questions, criticisms, comments, please put it at the bottom. Again, there's also some complaints before I leave you about the rule book. Again, I've read plenty of rule books, and I don't know any of them that has ever done it to perfection. Now, games with rule books of 2 pages, if you mess that up, then we have other issues. So let's not speak about games that have 2-page rule books. These games now, board games, have an average of 30 plus, pages, and it's complicated, to please everybody and to put all the rules, unless there's some disastrous rule books out there, I won't lie. At the same time, don't ever look at Midaro, which we're soon going to get on the table, God willing, but you're doing over 50, 60 pages of rule book. So, again, remember, it's all about the adventure, it's all about what you want, and always remember, at RP Gamepower, we always want you to have fun and enjoy the story. So if there's any question or criticism, please do share, as I look forward for us to adventure together into Bardsung, and more importantly, to enjoy the legend of the ancient forge.